Today I'm going to be tidying my workspace, organizing my overflow parts, and we're also going to be checking out this box here which contains 2,000 replacement 4x4 green plates, because when I ordered 4,000 plates on Bricklink from Brick Separator, I was supposed to get 2,000 that were brittle and 2,000 that were not brittle, and I ended up getting 4,000 that were all brittle. So I emailed them and said, hey, for some reason I got 4,000 breakable plates, and that's not what I ordered. I only wanted 2,000 of them, and I wanted the other 2,000 to be regular green plates. He's like, oh, my bad. I accidentally shipped you 4,000 brittle plates, and I'm gonna ship you the replacements. What's the reason? Why did I get the brittle plates? Well, they were like ridiculously cheap. For all 2,000 of them, after shipping and duty, it was like $105. I was like, okay, well, I can risk $105 to try and get 2,000 green plates, which is a ridiculously good price, and I use a lot of these in my Lego City. But when they showed up and all of them were brittle, I was a little bit disappointed because I paid way more for the ones that weren't supposed to be brittle. And in here are the replacements. So let's check it out. First off, here's a quick time lapse of me buzzing around the studio space here, getting it ready for the day. Got to do some quick part sorting, move some tables around, wipe those tables down so they're nice and clean, do some vacuuming, and just sort of get ready for the day. This is sort of like my daily reset. I always leave the studio in a big mess because I have other priorities, and then I come here in the morning and it's like, oh no, everything's a mess. I got to do some quick sorting, and here's today's. You got to keep your workstation fresh, right? Like, that's important. I always like a clean and tidy area. I can't handle clutter. I don't like mess, even though every time I build, I create a mess, but that's just part of Lego. So last time I ordered these from the Brick Separator on Bricklink, he sent it packed in garbage bags with a bunch of garbage, and it was sort of weird. But he did hook up like a bunch of additional 2x2 white tile, and it looks like he did the same here. So some additional 2x2 white tile in there. But I'm just curious to see if these plates are indeed replacements. Oh, I don't like styrofoam and packing peanuts. They go everywhere. Oh, it's the moment of truth, everybody. What's going to be the verdict here? Oh my gosh, wow, okay. You know, I will say this Bricklink seller, I felt really positive buying from him because he's got like a lot of like 100% positive feedback. And look at that. No way, he's hooked up 4 16x32 half base plates. That is sweet. Thank you so much, man. Cool. I honestly think it was a genuine mistake. Where he's getting the brittle plates, I don't know. A lot of people are saying he's picking them out of the garbage from the Mexico factory. I'm not the one to call that shot. I'm not the one to say, hey, I think you're buying or you're picking these out of the garbage. How am I supposed to know? Like, that's not my business, you know what I mean? But he's a reputable seller on Bricklink, and right off the hop, I think these plates here look good. Here's the test. I'm scared. Yes, they're good. They're not breakable. Okay, thank you, Brick Separator on Bricklink. Hooking up the right plates. Thank you so much, man. That is awesome. Great customer service. This is a ton. I'm not going to mix these up with the ones that are breakable. I'm going to make sure that I keep the ones that snap or the brittle plates separate from the ones that don't. So when I'm building a complex build that's not just like your average Mills plate, for example, the other day I was building a mountain. I probably don't want to use these on the mountain because I might have to rip the mountain apart and rebuild sections of it. Whereas if I'm just building a standard Mills plate for the train yard, I might use the breakable ones because I don't think the train yard is going to change very much, and I don't think those Mills plates will ever change. Even if I relocate the train yard, not much is going to change with the Mills plate. So I'm okay with using the breakable ones, which cost a fraction of regular green plates. But look at this. That's awesome. He corrected the mistake. And we've got 6,000 plates now in total. That's crazy. Plus the added bonus of the base plates and the tiles. That's legendary. Beauty. Love to see it. You know, I got a big city to build. A lot of people ask me, well, why don't you just buy these from the pab wall? You know, the pab wall, it'll only get you so far because the Lego store will get a case or two of each product per week, and it's are really hit or miss if they're gonna have specific pieces. So I can't really rely on the pad wall to get these. So I always try and source them from Bricklink. And I just happen to come across these because, of course, what I do when I'm looking for mass quantity is I go on bricklink.com, I search 4x4 plate, I isolate it by the color that I want to get, and then I sort it by quantity highest to lowest. And that's how I came across this listing with all these green plates. I don't know if this is 4,000, it might even be more because it's like overloading this container. Oh, sorry, 2,000. I don't know if this is more than 2,000, but holy Toledo, there's a lot of plate in that bin. It completely filled this bin. That is awesome, yes. Once again, when the original order arrived, I emptied the garbage bags into these two containers, all 4,000 of them, all of which were brittle. And as you can see, this container has taken a beating. That is a huge dent. I built the train yard mills plates and one section of mountain that's 348 by 48 gray base plates. And look at how many I used. We go through a ton of 4x4 green plate here in the studio, and that's why I had to find 4x4 green plate at a great price and a high quantity. And these are all the ones that we got today. Am I gonna go through and count them to make sure that there's 2,000 here and 6,000 total? Absolutely not. How could I do that more efficiently though? I could take 100 of these, put them on the scale in a container, find out how much 100 weigh, and then I could put one of these containers on my scale, hit tare, so it zeroes out the scale, dump all these in there, and then do the math to see if this is 2,000 green plates. But I'm not worried about that because I got all of this green plate here for $520 US, which is huge for the city. Like, I need these things for the city. A normal person does not need this much green plate. But when you're trying to build a city like me, I just need it just because there's so much countryside, there's so many, you know, there's so much mountain that I have to build and just so many things that I have to do with this green plate. And that's why I was willing to get, you know, 2,000 of the brittle plates originally, just because I thought it would be worth trying it out for $105 for 2,000 of them. And most of them are salvageable. Like, most of them I can use for building just generic mills plates. But for advanced builds, you want the stuff that's not going to break on you. And that's why I ordered 2,000 of each, and it just turns out now I've got 6,000 total. There you go. Let me tell you, that is a breath of fresh air. And now that I've got that dealt with, I want to work on my overstock parts inventory. I've got 6 drawer units, 3 of which I recently introduced. These 2 and this one over here, nicely organized, nicely labeled. These 3, not so much. There's just like random bags of pieces in here, making them relatively hard to find and also making it difficult to tell what I have because it's just like blank. You don't know what's in there. You don't know what you're gonna get. And these drawers here are overflowing with parts. So my goal today is to set up a new system in these 6 drawers that's just gonna work for the overstock. Also, as I go through all of this stuff, I need to make sure that my regular parts are full because sometimes I use all of the parts from the regular parts and then I've got to restock it from the overflow. And in addition to that, I've got all of these bags which need to be distributed either into the sorted parts system or into the drawers. And then I have these containers down here which I want to change up as well. You can see I've dumped my vegetation bin out for the green plate. I want to come up with a new system for my unsorted parts, and I want to start sorting some of this stuff. I can't say that the system is going to be new, but I want to get a new system for sorting parts, and I want to be more organized in regards to unsorted parts. And I think that's why I'm going to have a new table set up as well. So the black table is going to move, the sit stand desk is going to move, my computer desk is going to move. So I'm going to reorganize those tables so that I can work toward having a better system for organizing and sorting more parts. Also, these drawers over here, they drive me nuts. There's just like a bunch of overflow stuff in here as well. So I've got like overflow in bins and in drawers and in the white drawers. I've got overflow everywhere. So I just need to come up with a better system so that everything is together so that when I go to build stuff, I don't have to look in 5 different places to find all the same parts. This is going to make it more efficient. The first thing I'm going to take care of is my computer desk area here. Oof, that doesn't look very good at all. Plus, I just despise this desk. So here's what I've come up with. I decided to put the sit stand desk right here. Yeah, that's going to be nice because it makes it a versatile workstation. I can have the desk nice and low, which I actually like because this desk doesn't have a keyboard drawer. None of the desks here do. So when I'm typing, I like to be like sitting over top of the keyboard, and I like to be staring at the screen at eye level. So I actually really do like a low desk, and these armrests actually go over top of it. So yeah, it actually makes it really comfortable. Or I can raise it up so it's at a normal desk height. This is what the existing one was like. Not comfortable at all to type on. Look at that. Like, it just sucked, especially for Jose, because she's shorter than me. And I could also make it a standing workstation, which is really good. Now this desk here, it's not as wide and it's not as deep as the existing desk. So I decided to put the wheels on that one, and this is going to be like the ultimate build table because it's huge. I think that's way better than this table, which is rather small, and I decided to position this table right here because I've got something special planned for that in the near future. It is going to be a new workstation, which is going to be epic. It's going to be a nice addition to the studio space up here. So because this desk is smaller, I decided to use the excess space to get my computer tower unburied from the cubby that it was in. It just didn't make sense to have it buried in that shelf there. So what I did was built a custom little platform for it. And now I can access the USB ports, which is so important. I'm always plugging things into it, removing things, bringing my mic home, whatever it may be, plugging the Ethernet in, unplugging the Ethernet in, or unplugging the Ethernet, sorry, to plug it into my laptop. It just makes way more sense to have this out in the open. And plus now I get to look at its awesome flashing lights. Yeah, so I'm pretty excited about this. I think this is going to be a lot better. Now I have a super long Ethernet cable, and that was so ugly to look at. I need a super long Ethernet cable because sometimes I'm streaming down there, or sometimes I'm streaming over there, or sometimes I'm using my laptop and it needs to be hardwired over there. So I need to have a Ethernet cable that can go everywhere. And I was thinking to myself, how am I going to clean up this big Ethernet cable? Like, what am I going to do? I came up with a pretty unique idea. I've got this box here. So my router is actually down here. So I plugged it into the router. I fed it up on the side of this cabinet. Then it goes in this side of the box, and then in there is all the excess slack, and then it comes out this side of the box. So I can very easily just pull out the slack that I need, and then when I don't need slack, I can just hide it in this box and put it back on the shelf, and there you go. It's a hidden, humongous Ethernet cable that I can use whenever I need. And it also is Velcroed to the conduit that's fed along here just to try and tidy up the cables. I realize that there's still a bunch of messy cables back here. There's no way to do that neat and tidy. Of course, I could use like cable hiders and I could use cable management systems. I just don't have anything right now, so I tried to Velcro them together as best I could using these straps that I got from Amazon. So there you go. That took a long time, longer than expected, but I think it looks a lot better. Ooh, it's so pretty. Look at all the lights. I like that. Now I can actually check it out. Now you can see what I mean about the desk height. When I'm typing, I want it probably, honestly, probably like this. If I'm typing a long description out or something, I think this is ideal. Nice and low. Yeah. Imagine Jose typing at this height. She's way shorter than me. It was like this. That is so unergonomical. Like, what is going on here? You need the keyboard drawer, or you need the ability to bring this desk way down here, especially if you're going at it for a long time, placing a big bricklink order or whatever it may be. This is ideal. Yeah, I'm really happy with these changes. This is awesome. I've moved on to sorting. First thing I did was empty all the major drawers. Major being vegetation, tiles, plates, and also brick. Yep, I've got a lot of parts. Every time I do this, I'm like, oh my goodness, this is pretty wild. But I'm glad that I do this because I haven't even began like putting it back and emptying all the bags, and look at how much I've emptied into the main parts inventory, just stuff that I've used. So I've already cycled through that much stuff. Vegetation, we've got like palm leaves, regular tree leaves, stem elements, carrots, bamboo, pre-molded trees, leaf elements, antennas, these olive green pieces there. Then tiles, we've got 1x1 stuff like the dot stuff, a lot of stuff that I found from the pab wall, such as the dark tan, the dark orange, the sand blue, the 2x2 circular stuff, and then just things that I use for the sidewalks and all that different type of stuff, right? I found these on the fab wall so long ago. Then we got the 2x4 dark bluish gray, the water tile, which I ordered from Bricklink, the quarter rounds, white tile, also the envelopes. Now you got to remember, when you have a look at these parts, I've recently deconstructed a ton of mountains, and I've deconstructed the entire winter village and the entire ski slope, so that's why there's so much parts here as well. You got dark bluish gray plate, all the different shades of blue for the water underlaying plate. Then we've got white, most of which came from the ski slope, some dark gray, black, light gray, black, dark gray, nougat, and dark tans and stuff, which will be really good for the canal, which we're not done constructing yet. Then I have a bunch of masonry brick. Like, holy cow, I never realized how much masonry brick I have, which is good. I don't know what I'm going to use the white for, to be honest, but I know these go toward the masonry wall that goes around the entire amusement park, and these go on the raised platform coverings. So it's good to have a lot of that because the city is a lot bigger. And then the tan stuff goes into the walls around the amusement park as well. I've got a bunch of colorful brick up here, and reddish brown, black, gray, white, palisade bricks, panels, all that stuff. So now what I got to do is work these into the parts inventory, and I've actually, well, yeah, worked them into the parts inventory as best I can, and then all the stuff that remains, work them into the drawers, and I already started moving the labels, so I know that this whole tower here will now be all brick. This whole tower here will all be plate. I'm going to organize it all by color and identify it on the outside. This one will all be tile. This one is open for the taking. Actually, no, sorry, this is going to be vegetation and rock panels, because there's a bunch of vegetation which actually used to be in one of these bins, so I may as well put it all together in here. Plus, I've got a bunch of drawers of dark gray slopes because I recently took apart 5 mountains. So I'm going to bag all those out and put them in an additional slopes drawer. I'll put them down here, and then I'll group together the slopes. And I've got to reprint some of these labels because they've been moved and they're no longer sticky. So yeah, now I've just got to work it all into the drawers, and then at the same time empty it into the parts inventory as well. Sorry, it's been a long day. I'm running out of breath. It's hot in here too. It's this today. It's already 7:10. It's Friday night. I'm a little bit ahead right now. Look at my kid. Isn't he cute? I was doing some pruning in the backyard, and he loved the branches. Both of them did. But yeah, I actually filmed my Nightmare Before Christmas review today, and I finished building that this morning, and I was hanging out with the kids this morning as well. So I got here a little bit later, and now I'm taking care of all this. Just sort of burning the candle on both ends, you know? All right, let's get this put away. Woohoo! I started loading the first drawer, and I was like, wait a minute. I think in here, there's some other stuff that we can bag out. Woo! And over here, there's some more stuff that we can bag out. Oh my gosh, I gotta get all this in one spot so I know what I have. But once again, I recently took apart a ski slope. It makes sense. Ah, that feels so good to get done. All the stuff is put away. Whoo! It's great. You know, and Mrs. Bricksie's in luck. One of her favorite things to do is operate the label machine. So next time she's here, she can help me label the drawers. I just don't feel like doing that tonight. So when I originally got this place, I had this idea. I was like, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to do 15 minutes of sorting a day. It's going to be awesome. Eventually, all my Lego is going to be sorted because I'm going to do 15 minutes a day. And I'm also going to have this big table set up. It's going to be a permanent setup, and on that table is going to be all the parts that I need to sort. And I never did that. So I decided I would take a leap toward that goal today. And I decided to empty all of my medium parts onto these 2 tables right here. There used to be a little coffee table, but now it's 2 massive tables with a massive selection of parts. And hopefully I can go through here and pick out 200 plates a day or 200 bricks a day and start breaking it down and actually getting it sorted. Doesn't that make sense? Yeah, I think it makes sense. This is what I wanted to do when I first got this place, and now I'm finally doing it. And when I mentioned earlier that I wanted to set up a new system that would help improve the efficiency, I wasn't only talking about the drawers, I was talking about having the permanent parts table. But yeah, now all I have to do every day is just come in here and be like, okay, let's just grab all the plates, and let's throw the plates into a plate bin, like this bin right here. It's the plate bin. Okay, now we know all the plates are together. And then one day I'll be like, okay, we got all the plates out of there. Let's break this all down by color. And then I'll break it all down by color. Then the next day I'll focus on bricks, and we'll grab all the bricks. I'll start with like the most predominant pieces, which would be bricks, tiles, and plates. And then I can start grabbing arches and snot bricks and windows and whatever else it may be. And I'll try to break down this massive amount of bulk Lego. So these used to be in these bins. You can see I emptied 3 of them. So the only parts that remain after this, of course, are all the parts that I've been pointing out that are sort of semi-sorted in the drawers and also in the IKEA boxes. And then there's also the small bin, which will be a doozy to sort. I guess it's called extra small. And then there's also the large, extra large bin and all these 501st parts. But if I can get this sorted, well, then pretty much all of my Lego will be sorted, which would be a huge accomplishment. So I really should work toward this goal. Isn't that awesome though? That looks cool. I'm happy that I have this table set up. It's way better than a coffee table that never got used. Now I have a big parts table and it's sort of out of the way. It's not bothering anybody. I think that's a great system to have. Now I have a way bigger build table too, and I'm way happier with this setup over here. And keep in mind, I got something awesome happening over here, and it involves creating a better system for sorting parts in the future. Part storage and organization, and you have no idea what it is. It's going to be super cool. It's like Lego and another hobby, and they're going to merge into something that's super duper awesome. Everybody, I hope you enjoyed this video. Thank goodness we got 2,000 more 4x4 green plate, and slowly but surely I am cleaning this place up. Thank you so much for coming on by. Please remember to like, subscribe, and stay tuned, and farewell.